The day after the Festival of Lights, Adunni woke up to a surprise. As she stepped out of her house, she saw a group of villagers gathered around Mama Ireti's hut. Curious, she hurried over to see what was happening. Mama Ireti was standing at the entrance of her hut, speaking with a stranger, a tall, regal-looking woman dressed in elegant robes. The woman's presence commanded respect, and her eyes sparkled with wisdom and kindness. "Who is she?" Adunni whispered to Chichi, who was standing nearby. "I heard she's a queen from a distant land," Chichi replied, her eyes wide with curiosity. "She's come to seek Mama Ireti's wisdom." Adunni watched in surprise as the queen and Mama Ireti discussed. She wondered what had brought the queen to their humble village and what advice Mama Ireti would give her. After a while, Mama Ireti noticed Adunni and beckoned her to come closer. "Adunni, my child, meet Queen Anike," she said with a smile. "She has come a long way to seek help, just as you did." Adunni greeted respectfully. "It's an honor to meet you, Your Majesty," she said, her voice filled with admiration. Queen Anike smiled warmly. "The honor is mine, Adunni. Mama Ireti has told me about your journey and your courage. I see that you are a special young lady." Adunni blushed, feeling proud and humbled by the queen's word. "Thank you, Your Majesty," she said. "How can I help you?" Mama Ireti nodded approvingly. Queen Anike is facing a difficult situation in her kingdom, and she needs our support. I believe that your kindness and wisdom can make a difference. Adunni felt a surge of determination. She had learned so much from her own journey, and now she wanted to help others. "I will do my best to help," she said confidently. Queen Anike explained her problem. A terrible drought had struck her kingdom, causing crops to wither and rivers to dry up. Her people were suffering, and she didn't know how to bring back the rain. Mama Ireti suggested that they visit the Spring of Purity, believing that its magic could help restore balance to the land. Adunni agreed to accompany them, feeling honored to be part of such an important mission. The next morning, Adunni, Queen Anike, and Mama Ireti set out on their journey to the Spring of Purity. The villagers gathered to see them off, offering their blessings and well wishes. Adunni smiled and nodded, feeling the support of the entire village. She knew this journey was important, not just for Queen Anike's kingdom, but for herself as well. It was an opportunity to show her strength, kindness, and wisdom. The journey was long and challenging. They traveled through dense forests, crossed rivers, and climbed hills. Along the way, Mama Ireti shared stories and wisdom, teaching Adunni and Queen Anike valuable lessons about life, nature, and the importance of balance. One evening, as they rested by a campfire, Queen Anike asked Adunni about her experience with the Spring of Purity. "How did it feel to be cleansed by its magic?" she asked, her eyes filled with curiosity. Adunni thought for a moment before answering. "It felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders," she said. "The water washed away not just my body odor, but also my worries and fears. It made me realize that true beauty comes from within, and that we must love and accept ourselves for who we are." Queen Anike nodded thoughtfully. "I hope the spring can help my kingdom the same way it helped you," she said softly. "It will," Mama Ireti said confidently. "But remember, the spring's magic works best when combined with love, kindness, and understanding. We must approach it with open hearts and minds." The next day, they continued their journey with renewed determination. Adunni felt a deep sense of purpose, knowing that they were on a mission to help those in need. She hoped that the spring of purity would bring back the rain to Queen Anike's kingdom and restore balance to the land. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the path became more difficult. Thick vines had blocked their way, and the sound of wild animals echoed through the trees. Despite the challenges, Adunni, Queen Anike, and Mama Ireti pressed on, determined to reach the spring of purity. One afternoon, they came across a wide river with no visible way to cross. The current was so strong and the water looked deep and dangerous. Adunni, having doubts of how they would get across to the other side of the river. Mama Ireti studied the river for a moment before turning to Adunni and Queen Anike. "We must find a way to cross safely," she said. "Let's look for a bridge or a shallow spot where we can pass through." They walked along the river bank, searching for a solution. After a while, Adunni spotted a fallen tree that stretched across the water like a natural bridge. "Look over there," she exclaimed, pointing to the tree. "We can use that to cross." Queen Anike and Mama Ireti followed Adunni to the tree. It was sturdy but narrow, and crossing it would require balance and careful steps. Mama Ireti went first, moving slowly and steadily. Once she reached the other side, she called out to Adunni and Queen Anike. "Take your time and be careful," she advised. "You can do it." Adunni took a deep breath and stepped onto the tree. She focused on her footing, one step at a time, until she reached the other side. Queen Anike followed afterwards. With the river behind them, they continued their journey. The forest seemed to grow darker and denser, but they didn't let it discourage them. They knew that the spring of purity was close, and they were determined to reach it. That night, they set up camp and sat around the fire, sharing stories and building their bonds. Adunni felt a deep connection with Queen Anike and Mama Ireti, and she knew that their journey was about more than just finding the spring. It was about learning, growing, and helping each other. As they approached the heart of the forest, the air grew cooler and the atmosphere more magical. Adunni felt a sense of anticipation and wonder. She knew they were close to the spring of purity. However, before they could reach the spring, they encountered a formidable obstacle: the guardian of the spring. The guardian was a tall, imposing figure with eyes that glowed like embers and a presence that commanded respect. It was said that only those with pure hearts and noble intentions could pass the guardian and access the spring. "Who dares approach the spring of purity?" The guardian's voice boomed, echoing through the forest. Adunni, Queen Anike, and Mama Ireti stepped forward. Mama Ireti spoke first, her voice calm and respectful. "We are travelers on a noble quest. Queen Anike seeks to bring rain and prosperity back to our kingdom, and Adunni has come to help and learn." The guardian's eyes narrowed as it studied them. "Prove your worthiness," it said. "Each of you must face a trial that will test your heart and spirit." Mama Ireti went first. Her trial was to demonstrate her wisdom and knowledge. She answered the guardian's questions with ease, sharing stories and lessons she had learned over the years. The guardian nodded in approval and allowed her to pass. Queen Anike's trial was one of leadership and compassion. She had to show how she had cared for her people and made sacrifices for their well-being. She spoke passionately about her kingdom and her desire to help her subjects. The guardian listened intently and then granted her passage. Finally, it was Adunni's turn. Her trial was to confront her deepest fears and insecurity. She had faced her past struggles with her body odor and the feeling of isolation and sadness it had caused her. Adunni took a deep breath and spoke from her heart, sharing her journey and the lessons she had learned about self-acceptance and inner beauty. The guardian listened, its eyes softening. "You have all proven yourself worthy," it said. "You may pass and access the spring of purity." With gratitude and relief, Adunni, Queen Anike, and Mama Ireti continued their journey. They knew that the final step of their mission was within reach. At last, they arrived at the spring of purity. It was even more beautiful and magical than Adunni remembered. The water sparkled under the sunlight, and the air was filled with a sense of peace and tranquility. Queen Anike approached the spring with reverence. "This is a place that will bring rain back to my kingdom," she said, her voice filled with hope and determination. Mama Ireti nodded. "Remember to approach it with love and a pure heart. The spring's magic is powerful, but it works best when combined with kindness and understanding." Queen Anike knelt by the spring, with her hands put together. She closed her eyes and whispered a heartfelt prayer, asking for rain and prosperity to return to her kingdom. As she did so, a gentle breeze blew through the clearing, and the water seemed to shimmer with a golden light. Adunni watched in awe, feeling a deep sense of gratitude and wonder. She knew that this moment was a turning point, not just for Queen Anike's kingdom, but for herself as well. She had learned so much on this journey and felt stronger, wiser, and more confident. After a while, Queen Anike stood up, holding a small bottle of the spring water. "I will take this back to my kingdom and use it to bring rain and life to the land," she said. "Thank you, Adunni and Mama Ireti, for your guidance and support." As they began their journey back to the village of Abule, Adunni felt a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment. She had faced her fears, helped a queen, and learned valuable lessons about herself and the world around her. The journey back home was filled with laughter and stories. They retraced their steps through the forest, crossed the river using the fallen tree, and finally emerged into the familiar surroundings of Abule. The villagers welcomed them with open arms, eager to hear about their adventures. Adunni shared their story, and the people of Abule listened with amazement and pride. Watch out for part 3.